is 704-289. This is 803-548.
Welcome to South Carolina. In my March 1977 phone trip, the first stops in South Carolina were in the territory of the Rock Hill Telephone Company, which in 1973 was listed as the largest small independent in South Carolina. My first stop was in Fort Mill, in the Rock Hill area. In Fort Mill there is an ESC and a STEP. I don't know if they're in the same building or not. The phone I encountered was in the ESC. And there's that super fast dial tone again. The ESC has an ability that most other central offices don't have with regard to payphones. On dial tone first, the ESC is able to detect whether or not the caller has made his initial deposit without testing in the usual way. Most central office types momentarily interrupt the line battery power to test whether the coin is there. ESC doesn't have to do that. The piece of equipment that gives you dial tone and receives your digits is apparently continuously aware of whether you have a coin in the phone or not. Thus, the central processor can poll the originating register device to find out whether there's a coin there whenever it needs, and there's no need for a DC interruption. The rule in ESC is that whenever something is about to happen switching-wise, that's when the processor polls the register device to find out if there's a coin. So, for example, if I dial my own number without a coin in the box, it'll wait till I dial the 7th digit, then check, and because the coin isn't there, connect me to a reorder tone. That hummy, ticky thing was my line lockout relay, which engaged because I didn't hang up long enough. You hear that a lot. It has unbalanced power. I don't know what the ticking is, but you'll also hear other people in the neighborhood dialing quite often. So on calls within the office, it waits to the last digit before testing. But if it's a call to another office or a vacant code, the test occurs after you dial the 3rd digit of the number. You could hear some dialing in the neighborhood there. By the way, this is a GTE automatic electric coin phone, notable for its dial that makes absolutely no sound, so you cannot decode the dial pulses. Each dialed digit is just a moment of silence. Anyway, let's start at the beginning. I'll put a coin in and dial a vacant code.
Lower directly or dial the rotary system to obtain the correct number. This is a recording. You have dialed an incorrect or discontinued number. Please consult lower directly or dial the rotary system to obtain the correct number. This is a recording.
Another place you'll find a local recording in an ESC is if you leave your phone off the hook, or just wait too long in the middle of dialing a number. The timeout on a dial tone is usually around 32 seconds, not 30.
This is a recording. You have not completed dialing within the allotted time. Please hang up and dial again.
This time depositing a dime, I'm going to dial my own number. Here's a ringing number in this same ESC office. I'm going to hang up pretty fast because, well, these are not post-pay phones. The Rock Hill Telephone Company, like Centel in Ashboro, enjoys the quaint directory assistance code 113.
Director Assistant, your number?
548-9123.
May I help you?
Yes, you have a number for time of day in this town?
What?
Fort Mill.
What name again?
Time of day service in Fort Mill.
No, we don't have one in Fort Mill. We have one in Rock Hill.
A number in Rock Hill?
Yes. You want that one?
Mm-hmm.
It's 327-0222.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Ah, you could hear me opening a phone booth door there. I do recall that in the Rock Hill area, and there were 3 stops there, I got a phone booth every time. Anyway, we're on the lockout relay. A simple flash here will put me back to line idle and a new dial tone, where we'll call the operator and ask about the local calling area.
Boy, what lousy service. Waiting this long for an operator. If they want a rate increase, if they knew it was Tuffy calling, then they'd...
Operator,
Yes, can you tell me what exchanges I can call locally from here?
locally you can call the 547-327, 328, 366, and 324.
Okay, let me just get all this down. That's 547-328,
Uh-huh.
366,
Uh-huh.
324,
324 and 327.
327.
And you can also call 548 exchange.
Of course. Okay, that's it.
Uh-huh.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Here's a 11X code, I can't tell which, that seemed to go to an unanswered ring. If you try to dial long distance from this phone, you end up going to the local operator. I'll do this twice. The first time I'll tell the operator I got her by mistake, and then the second time I'll do it again, dialing a long-distance call that is intercepted by the operator from this coin phone, and I'll give her the details to call my former home number.
Operator. This is the operator. May I help you?
Oh, got you by mistake. I'm sorry.
Operator.
Could you get me area code 516-593-9083?
516, what, sir?
593-9083.
What is your name, please?
My name?
Yes, are you going to pay for the call, sir, or are you going to make it clear?
I'd like to pay for it.
All right, what is your name?
My name? Why do you want to know my name if I'm paying for the call?
Well, I just have to have your name.
This is really something new. My name's Mr.
Well, what is your first name?
My first name?
Yes.
First name is Evan, E-V-A-N.
Thank you, and what number are you speaking from?
548-9123.
And you're going to speak with anyone that answers, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
How much is that, by the way?
One moment, I'm checking. That would be $2.15 for 3 minutes.
$2.15. Let
Yes.
me make sure I have that.
All right.
No, I don't. Could you make that collect?
I'd be glad to. So that's not a coin phone in New York, is it?
No.
The number you have reached, LY39083, has been changed. The new number is area code 212-877-3552 in New York City.
So that was the right number, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I'll check and call the other number later.
You don't want to make it collect?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
The office code from which I'm calling is 548. There is a step in Fort Mill, 547. Here's a vacant level in the step. When we dial 547, the ESC will pick up a trunk to the step. It's a 4-digit trunk. As soon as our ESC dials the invalid 1000 group 0, you'll hear the reorder tone coming through already. When the dialing's complete, we'll be cut through completely and you'll hear it at full volume. And by the way, on some of these calls, I'm going to be depositing my coin between the second and third digit. It's just less disruptive to the recording that way. That was my putting my dime in after the second digit. Unfortunately, this telephone has an inaudible dial, but I'm going to dial the third digit, and when I do, you will hear the ESC getting the trunk to the Fort Mill step. There, now we have the trunk, and when I dial the fourth digit, 0, the ESC will dial it out, and you'll hear the reorder coming from the step, even though we're not fully connected yet. There it is. I don't know what the modern busy signal is coming from. On the next call, I dial a test number in 547 that goes to a 1 kilocycle tone. I think it's going to take my dime, so I hear the tone in the background, knowing the ring is about to trip and it's about to answer, and I hang up. You know, it's occurring to me that I should have spent more time on this lockout relay because it has unbalanced power. And so much of this environment sounds a bit sterile. It's because we're calling from an ESC, and the step-by-step offices we're calling are almost certainly GTE automatic electric, and they kind of have a sterile sound too. It is going to get better, however. Here's a call to 547, the Fort Mill step. This goes to a vacant level, and you hear a power ring as we're waiting for the recording to start.
This is a recording. You have reached an incorrect or discontinued number. Please consult your directory or call directory assistance to obtain the correct number. This is a recording. You have reached an incorrect or discontinued number. Please consult your directory or call directory assistance to obtain the correct number.
Aha! I know that noise. That's the sound of a selector dropping and sort of resetting so that it is now waiting for digits again. We're calling from an ESC, which allows you to dial through to outgoing local calls. So, just for example, if 1 is a vacant level on this selector, and I flash,
This is a recording. You have reached an incorrect or discontinued number. Please consult your directory or call directory assistance to obtain the correct number. This is a recording. You have reached an incorrect or discontinued number. Please consult your directory or call directory assistance to obtain the correct number.
it did it again. Looks like the vacant level intercept does that every time. So what I want to do now is try to dial something different, a different last 4 digits to get a ringing number, hopefully, and we can hear the actual 547 ring. You know, the one you're supposed to hear, not the razzy sound that just rings the bells. So I'm going to dial a different last 4 digits. Hopefully we'll get a ring. If we get a vacant number, we'll hear a burst of the real ring, and then probably that same recording again.
This is a recording. You have reached an incorrect or discontinued number. Please consult your directory or call directory assistance to obtain the correct number.
Well, we heard a little burst of the real 547 Fort Mill step ring. This was a vacant number, and when the recording stopped on this, it didn't reset the selector. So I got to hang up. The other thing that's local is Rock Hill. Rock Hill has 3 distinct switching entities. All of the Rock Hill entities are reached by this ESC dialing the last 6 digits of the phone number into one of the Rock Hill steps. I don't know which one. 327 and 328 are a step. The time number's in 327. When we dial 327, you can hear the ESC picking up a trunk to a Rock Hill step and dialing 27. After that, as we dial each of the last 4 digits, the ESC will repeat that into the step trunk, and after we dial the last digit and it is repeated, the ESC will cut us through and the phone line for the time will be ringing.
You'll always get friendly, personal service at Rock Hill National Bank. Time 7:05. Temperature 74.
Now that was actually an unfamiliar voice, but that did sound like a regular Autogron time machine. Now, 3 calls to the 328 office code. The ring and busy of 328 are the same as what we heard on that last call to the time.
Thank you for calling Westgate Apartments. I'm sorry the office is closed for the day and will reopen Monday morning at 9:30. In case of a maintenance emergency, please call 328-2322 or go to apartment 850J. Thank you very much.
.366 is the Rock Hill step that has a pretty ringtone. Here's a call to a 366 ring and then a reorder tone from a vacant or blocked level. When we dial 366 from here, the ESC picks up a trunk to some Rock Hill step and dials 66, then the last 4 digits are repeated. The remaining local code in the Rock Hill area is 324. When we dial it from here, the ESC picks up a trunk to one of the Rock Hill steps and dials the last 6 digits of the number. So it's 24 when we dial 324, and then the last 4 digits are repeated. But this doesn't end up on a step. That was some sort of a so-called electronic switch. But what kind? I didn't know at the time, even while I was dialing from it, which you'll hear on an upcoming program. But now I do know, and it has to do with having listened more carefully to the tapes. This next call holds an audio clue that answers the question. Sorry for all the receiver fidget noise. These AE receivers do that. They make it very hard to cover the mouthpiece and not have that happen. You notice that sort of whining sound underneath the tones of the busy? Where have we heard that sound before? Very familiar somehow. Here it is in the other context. And here it is here. It's not from this program. It's from the long distance series. Different pitch, but the same basic sound. Not the fidgets, the whine. Well, let's listen to the other call now, where we heard it before. I can't believe Bill didn't love independence the way I do. It's the sound we were hearing before this independent busy signal came on, and that is the sound of the Fulton, New York #1 EAX switch, which is used as a tandem for the Fulton area. While it is outpulsing to the destination office, you hear that whining noise. The #1 EAX was Automatic Electric's, that's GTE's, first electronic switch for widespread use in the public network. Dialing from it, it sounds very much like an ESC, although there are some definite differences. We'll be hearing more from this switch in the next program, and then the program after that, we get to dial from it. Here's one more call to the 547 Fort Mill step, trying to get a working number again.
This is a recording.
Okay, forget it. I tell you, nobody lives there. I think that in the 3 stops in the Rock Hill area, I have no working numbers in 547 except that test line that I hung up on, and no non-working numbers in any of their other exchanges. Anyway, that's it for the first stop in the Rock Hill Telephone Company, but there's another one, the 366 step, the one with the pretty ring. That's next. With regard to this program, 2 apologies for the editing. The 324 busy signal and the lockout relay sounds were looped imperfectly by me because I just didn't have enough material to work with. You know, I'm encouraging everyone to listen carefully to the sounds, and if you start listening carefully, you're usually not going to hear my editing, but on this one you really could. So I just want to apologize for that. I just didn't have enough to work with. Anyway, the 366 step is next.